Shot a Deca 100 milligrams a week. That was my 10-year solution to drug intervention.
And I can tell you right now, this cycle's smaller than many of the female bikini competitors. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm calling out Tom Platz. He made a video talking about the various compounds he used to win the Mr. Olympia title. And you want to hear what it was? Throughout all those 10 years?
Winstrol, 20 milligrams a day, and shot a Deca 100 milligrams a week.
100 milligrams of Deca per week, not per day, and 20 milligrams of Winstrol each day. That's it. And as far as I know, Tom Platz was not a bikini competitor in the Miss Olympia. He was actually competing for the Mr. Olympia title, not bikini. And I can tell you right now, this cycle's smaller than many of the female bikini competitors. And so does anyone, raise your hand, believe that that's all he took?
I spent, I think, $300 maybe max on each Olympia.
Yeah, $300 max per week. Are you kidding me? $300 for the entire prep for the Mr. Olympia.
Shot a Deca 100 milligrams a week. That was my 10-year solution to drug intervention with Mr. Olympia as far as steroids.
And notice he says that's for all 10 years. I consider Tom Platz to be an intelligent bodybuilder. Can you think of a single intelligent bodybuilder that would use the exact same cycle for 10 straight years? Oh, testosterone. Why would I want that? I'll just take 100 milligrams of Deca, shut down my own body's natural production of testosterone, and I'll just add in some Winnie. No problem, 10 years. Really, think of it. That is quite literally less than HRT doses. If you went to a doctor at HRT clinic in the United States and said, I want to go on HRT, they would prescribe more than Tom Platz is doing.
That was my 10-year solution to drug intervention with Mr. Olympia as far as steroids.
And remember, he says as far as steroids go, he's not saying he didn't use any special fat burners or growth hormone. I'm sure he did. But that's what he took as far as steroids go. And in looking at his face, I would have to assume he'd probably taken some GH. Can't say for sure, but I assume that's what he took. But even if he did admit to this, I don't believe for 1 second that was all he ever took. Perhaps once his first cycle for 1 week, that's what he took, maybe in the off season after the show. But I simply can't believe this is all the guy would need to take. And so what he wants you to believe is it wasn't about the steroids. It was all about the training. You know, back then, we trained way harder, way smarter than those bodybuilders today. You know, those guys after us, they're all lazy.
It wasn't about the drugs in the old days. It was about the reps and the mentality.
And you know what else? He probably walked uphill to school, back and forth every day, uphill both ways in a blizzard. You know, back in my day, we never needed steroids to become Mr. Olympia champions. We just needed to put in the hard work. It's about the reps.
I spent, I think, $300 maybe max on each Olympia.
And so in reality, $300 US back then was worth about $1,000 US today. And so please do understand that with inflation, $300 back then probably worth $1,000 or more if it was today. And please understand you can get a lot more than just a little bit of Deca and some Winstrol for $1,000 today. So if you've never heard of Tom Platz, let me explain how this guy used to train and how he trains others. He is known for going to failure, to train harder than last time, to train harder than ever before, to train harder than anyone has ever seen in their entire lives. You did a set of failure and then you stopped? That's an easy set. That's what we do on a warm-up. You want to know what training hard looks like? You go to failure, you do as many reps as you can more, you get a spotter to continue to lift the weights, and when the spotter can't keep pushing the weight, you tap out, get a new spotter. You keep doing reps, every single rep, until your leg cannot move, until you have to be carried out in a stretcher. That is how Tom Platz would train individuals. And so when I think of Tom Platz's training, it reminds me of Team Carol Voss. You see her training Vivi Winkler, various girls with glutes for days? Well, that is how they train, only 5 times harder than that. And so hope that gives you an idea of how hard Tom Platz used to train. And I bet a lot of the girls featured taking more than 100 milligrams of Deca and 20 milligrams of Winstrol. And so for him, it's all about the reps. But is it really? Is that how you're supposed to train? And so I'm checking out Alexander Bromley's channel, of which he likes to poke fun at Coach Greg. He says that harder than last time, it's a bad idea. As in, it's not good. Is it really? Is it all about the reps? Is the more reps you do, the better? Is it high volume the secret to muscle growth? Maybe Alexander Bromley's right.
Listen to me now so that I never have to repeat myself. If you take a lifter who is used to a certain amount of volume and you double up on that volume, they get
Cookbooks
bigger. It's not a question, and I'm not asking for your opinion on it.
Well, it's not a question. He doesn't want me to respond to it. It's cold, hard facts. You take any athlete in the world, professional bodybuilder, no matter who you are, and you double up on that volume, and they get bigger. I mean, are you now shocked? And so as soon as I get done this video, I'm going to call up Chris Bumstead. I'm going to tell him, double up on your volume, because next year you're going to the open class. You're winning the open class Mr. Olympia. And so all you have to do, everyone watching this right now, no matter what you're doing, double it. Do twice as much. You're doing 5 sets of bench, do 10. 6 sets of squats, do 12. 8 sets of leg press, do 16. If you double it, you're going to grow. There's no question about it. You can't debate me. It's scientifically proven. At least that's what Alexander Bromley stated. And remember, he's highly educated, highly knowledgeable, has over 100,000 followers, and so everything he says, 100% right. And remember, this is the same guy that said, Coach Greg giving advice, train harder than last time, that's bad advice. And so let's see, what does the actual literature say? You know, the ones that Coach Greg read. Well, total weekly volume should range anywhere from 10 to 20 sets per any given body part per week. Not per day, per week. And so if you're training each body part twice a week, you should be doing 5 to 10 sets of that given body part on every single training day. That would equate to 10 to 20 sets per week. And if you're training each body part once a week, well, you can train 10 to 20 sets on that given day. And so what if you're already doing 20 sets per week? Well, you have to double it. He stated it works for everyone. Double it up, 40 sets a week. Do you know what's going to happen if you do that? You're going to overtrain. Are you going to get bigger? Nope. What could possibly happen? Well, you overtrain and you in fact get smaller. Or at best, those extra sets you're doing, those 20 extra sets, well, it's just junk volume. It's doing absolutely nothing for muscle growth. And so no, you can't just double up on your training and expect to build muscle. We do something called train harder than last time. You know what I've been saying for years? And what does that mean? What is the scientific way to say train harder than last time? Progressive overload. Oh, I never thought of that. And so if you're doing 5 sets of 10 in the gym, to train harder than last time, you can do 6 sets of 10. Or you can do 4 sets of 10, 1 set of 11. You train harder. 4 sets of 10 and 1 set of 10 and a quarter. You just train harder. Progressive overload. Or you continue to do 5 sets of 10, but you paused one of the reps. That made it harder. Or you slow down the eccentric, or use greater mind-muscle connection, or you slow down the tempo, you squeeze harder during the reps. There are so many ways to train harder. It's not just about increasing the weight or increasing the reps. You just go to the gym and you push harder than you did before. The vast majority of people are stopping 3, 4, 5, 6 reps from failure. They're not training hard. I'm not talking about powerlifting phenoms, bodybuilders training for Mr. Olympia. I'm talking about your average gym goer, the people you see training around you. You know, at Good Life, at commercial gyms, the majority of the people are not pushing themselves. They're half-assing their workouts, getting half-assed results. And so my number one piece of advice for people, train harder than last time. And no, I'm not talking about you, the guy that's the hardest worker in the room.
No one will outwork me. No one.
For example, The Rock. I'm talking about those of you that you know you're holding back a little bit. You're not pushing hard enough. You could do better. That's 5% of you. 1 out of 20. 1 out of 20 of you, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. And if you're overtraining, you're going too hard, perhaps you're doing bike races on Zwift, trying to lift weights the next day, you're mentally burnt out, you can't keep pushing harder, what do? You go to the gym, you take a deload. You train easier than last time. A little bit, you don't go as hard. And why? Because you can't. But if you can, you do it. And the next time when you're feeling better, well, you go harder than that deload day. And you repeat. You keep going harder whenever you can. When you're on vacation in Dominican, you take a deload. You're on vacation. You still go to the gym. You just don't train as hard as you once did. And then when you get back from vacation, you again train harder than last time. You're sick. You're not feeling good. You just do the best you can. You can't train harder than last time every single workout for your life. No one can do it. You can't always be on point, but what you can do
You
is
can
try.
absolutely do balls to the wall fatigue work for your first set.
Take an easy day.
Then do that 25 more times over 7 different exercises.
Really?
You go
and so
harder
you
than
can
last
go
time.
all
That
out,
is my
balls
advice.
to the wall, your
And so
first
if you're
set
gonna
to
be pedantic
failure,
and
then
pick
do
apart my advice, of
25
course you're gonna
sets
find
more.
holes in it.
On one
In one
workout.
sentence,
Can I give you the perfect formula for muscle growth? Of course not. But if you gave me an hour to explain exactly how it works, why, when, and how to do it, of course it's going to work. And so I listened to your advice, and how hard was that to find a hole in it? Double up on your reps? Everyone putting on muscle? Of course not. You could have stated, well, work towards doubling up on your reps, and if you notice you're training too much volume, then of course don't go beyond that, try to find a different way to train harder. But instead, you make a blanket statement, of course you're going to find a mistake. And so let's listen to you explain further about increasing volume.
You can absolutely do balls to the wall fatigue work for your first set, rest, then do that 25 more times over 7 different exercises. In fact, that is what many bodybuilders do.
Really? And so you can go all out, balls to the wall, your first set to failure, and then do 25 sets more on one workout. Last I checked, 25 plus 1 makes 26 sets, and that is in fact higher than the 10 to 20 stated in the scientific literature. And so who makes more sense? Who actually understands training? You're stating that it's not a question, it's not up for debate, that everyone in the world can double up on their volume and will grow more muscle. Then you follow that up with saying you can do one all-out set to failure and then add in 25 sets extra of 7 exercises for a total of 26 total sets. And that's going to put on muscle. And that tons of bodybuilders do this. I don't know any. I don't know a single bodybuilder doing 26 sets in his workout for any given body part. It makes no sense.
As an approach for using regular bodybuilding style movements to get bigger and stronger over high rep sets, it absolutely does work.
Sorry to break it to you, but I don't care who you are, natural or enhanced, you shouldn't be doing over 20 sets for any given body part on any given day. And if you are, it's because you're training like a cat. You know, a pussycat like Baby Nikki or Girl Kitten.
Despite what the HIIT guys say, it's
Cookbooks
hard, much harder than HIIT.
Really? And so volume now is automatically harder than HIIT. I gotta disagree. It depends on how you're doing your HIIT versus how you're doing your volume. For example, if you go for a 1 hour walk slowly, it's gonna be a lot easier than if you go for 10 sets of 30-second sprints all out. But if you go for a 1 hour run at a very moderate pace versus one 30-second sprint up a hill, of course the volume's harder.
I keep hearing all the mongoloids in the comments talk about the main reason that HIIT isn't mainstream and that most pros don't do it is because it's just simply too hard. I'm dead serious. I've had like 200 average goons tell me that in the comment section.
Average goons in the comment section. I guess we're not allowed to argue or debate with him. After all, what he says goes, remember? And so why did y'all double up on the volume? It's not a question. It's not a debate.
Remember when I said volume approaches can involve HIIT tactics? Well, take the horrifying pain that comes from the worst HIIT workout you've ever done.
I mean, obviously, if you're training like Tom Platz or Team Carol Vaz, doing set after set like that, combining intense training with lots of volume, of course it's going to be harder than doing one set to failure. It goes without saying. You don't need to restate this.
I encourage anyone who thinks HIIT is especially hard to watch, I don't know, any
Cookbooks.
video of Tom Platz doing anything. Bring on the puke bucket, boys.
Come on! 45
Cookbooks. A little sus there, Tom. What are we actually training for right now? It looks like he's about to explode. Release the demons on him.
If your calves are stubborn, do you just keep going
harder than friggin' last time.
and hope for the best? Or do you maybe, just maybe, do more work on them than the other muscle groups?
Well, absolutely. If you do have a lagging body part, it's not growing, you could go harder than last time. Add in extra sets, extra volume, extra intensity, drop sets, partials, greater mind muscle connection. But at the same time, if you're doing too much, you might need to take a deload. Perhaps you've gone too hard for too long and your body can't adapt. Perhaps the problem is you watched an Alexander Bromley video. You weren't growing your calves, you doubled up on the volume, and you're not getting any bigger. And so perhaps it's because you're doing too much volume, you can't recover. Maybe you need to change the way you're eating. Maybe you're not eating enough. Perhaps you have low testosterone levels. And maybe for some reason you haven't decided to pick up your bottle of GO2 Max. I mean, think about it. Imagine not taking GO2 Max. The main ingredient, NMN, is so amazing, banned by the FDA being sold on Amazon. That's right, can't get it on Amazon. They want pharmaceutical companies to make billions of dollars selling this as an amazing supplement to help your cardio dramatically. Ward off age-related illnesses, decrease blood pressure, cholesterol, helps you sleep better, makes you a better butter burner, recover greater between sets. Imagine not taking GO2 Max. And don't take my word for it, double-blind, placebo-controlled human studies, not in mice, shows just how effective it really is in the real world. And not just for couch potatoes, for elite level athletes. I don't care if you're in the Olympics, the UFC, doing marathons, training in the gym. This, the best supplement you could take. Better than creatine, better than all the supplements I have on my website. This, the #1 supplement I would recommend. And if that's still not enough, Joe Rogan podcast featuring Andrew Huberman, episode 1958, the final 60.5 minutes, explain just how effective it is. Click the link in the description, code Greg, 10% off, buy in bulk for greater discounts. And so if you're not making the gains in the gym, you're slowing down, you need a pick-me-up, please consider GO2 Max. It's not a stim-based product, it's not a pre-workout to get you jittery, gives you more energy, better workouts. Please consider GO2 Max. And so let me know in the comments section, does any of you believe that that's all Tom Platz took? And how many of you believe that if you double up on your training, no matter who you are, you're going to put on muscle? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of the bloops, and of course, the cookbooks, the training books, the coaching plans by me and my team. Also, Harder Than Last Time clothing line, the Circle diet book. Follow me on Instagram, Greg Doucette IB Pro. And until next time, I am out.